Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Sentinels of the Multiverse, where we're going through every single hero in the game, including all the expansions, the Cauldron expansion, and all the side content they've done, and going through each and every hero in the game, and eventually, hopefully, the definitive edition heroes as well. Then we'll start doing the villains and the environments and stuff. What we're doing is we're looking at each of them, showing off all the cards, talking about how they play, and then giving you my overall impression of what I thought of those heroes. So, this episode here is number 16, OMNITRON-X. So let's get to it here and get into how OMNITRON-X is. So again, I will just let you see here if you want to watch. Put it on pause so you can read this over. Now, the one thing I found out, and I didn't realize this, but if you actually go in the variants here, they actually have a different story for every variant in the game. So, as you can see, it is going to be different. I didn't realize that. So, going forward, I guess we'll compare and show those as well if you're interested in checking that out. Alright, so now let's go look at OMNITRON-X. 25 hit points. Time shift power. Reveal the top card of your deck. Put it into play or into the trash. Alright, so Omnitron obviously is also a villain. So this is, I think, the first character that came into being both a villain and a hero. And on the back side of his card, one player may draw a card. One player may play a card. Select a target until the start of your next turn. Reduce damage dealt to that target by 1. There you go. Now we'll look at the variants. And we have Omnitron U. 24 hit points. Violet wiring. Power until the end of your next turn. Whenever one of your cards is destroyed, Omnitron deals 1 target 2 fire damage. Either play a card or move 1 equipment card from your trash to your hand. Backside of this card, one hero destroys 1 of their equipment cards. If you do, they deal 1 target 2 lightning and 2 fire damage. One player moves an equipment card from their trash into their hand. One player may play a card. Alright, and so that is Omnitron's variants. Again, the only 2 variants that I actually have unlocked in the game. I don't know if you have to unlock some of the other ones to get them or not. But let's take a look. He's got 17 different cards in his deck, so not a whole bunch of different cards. And let's see what he's got going on here. Ablative coating. Ablative coating? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. 2 copies of this. Equipment and plating. Reduce melee, projectile, and toxic damage dealt to Omnitron by 2. When this card enters play, return all other plating cards to your hand. 2 copies of Bioengineering Beam. Ongoing power. Destroy an environment card. Omnitron deals 1 non-hero target 2 energy damage. 2 copies of Defensive Blast. Ongoing limited card. Discard a plating card. If you do, Omnitron-X deals each non-hero target 1 damage for each type currently reduced by a plating card. So, discarding a plating card, and if you do, Omnitron deals each non-hero target 1 damage for each type currently being reduced by that plating card. So again, if we go back and look at the plating card, this card reduces melee, projectile, and toxic damage by 2. Alright, so Defensive Blast. Discard a plating card. If you do, Omnitron-X deals each non-hero target 1 damage for each type currently reduced by the plating card. Disruptive Fleshlets. Disruptive Flesh. And that's Citizen Kane there. Looks like Omnitron's put some drugs into her. One shot, destroy up to 2 ongoing cards. Omnitron-X deals each non-hero target 2 projectile damage. 2 copies, Electro Deployment Unit, Equipment Component. At the start of your turn, either draw a card or play a card. If Omnitron-X is dealing 5 or more damage in one turn, destroy this card. 2 copies, Elemental Exo Chassis. Equipment, Plating again. Reduce fire, cold, lightning, and energy damage dealt to Omnitron by 2. When this card enters play, return all other plating cards to your hand. 2 copies of Focused Plasma Cannon. Equipment, Component. At the start of your turn, Omnitron-X may deal 1 target, 2 irreducible fire damage. If Omnitron is dealt 5 or more damage in one turn, destroy this card. Gaussian Coil Blaster. Equipment, Component. At the start of your turn, Omnitron-X deals up to 3 targets 1 lightning damage each. If Omnitron-X is dealt 5 or more damage in one turn, destroy this card. So you can see he's all about putting his plating out so he doesn't take a lot of damage, so he can get all of his super really good powers into play. 2 copies of Intervention Ray. Equipment Component. At the start of your turn, up to 3 hero targets regain 1 hit point each. If Omnitron-X is dealt 5 or more damage in one turn, destroy this card. Again, using your components, resisting damage, so you're not taking a lot of damage, and keeping your really good cards in play. Reactive Plating Subroutine. There are 3 copies of this card. Ongoing Limited. Whenever Omnitron-X is dealt damage of a type currently reduced by a plating card, Omnitron-X deals 1 target 2 damage of that type. Oh, so you're blocking damage, you're taking less damage, and now you're redirecting it. Wow, that's awesome. Alright. Reset. 1 shot. There's 4 copies in here. Shuffle your trash in your deck, draw a card, draw a card. Drawing card is never a bad thing in Sentinels. Doesn't seem like that great a power, but let me tell you, it can be really, really good. 2 copies of Rocket Punch. Equipment. Omnitron deals 1 target 2 projectile damage. Omnitron may deal 1 target 1 projectile damage. So 1 target 2 and 1 target 1. And 2 copies of that. Self-Sabotage. 1 shot. Destroy any number of component cards. Omnitron deals 1 target X energy damage, where X is the number of component cards destroyed by this card times 2. Get a bunch of components out, blow yourself up at the last straw to do a bunch of damage if it looks like you're going to go down. And yeah, you might be able to just take out the enemy that way. Singularity, 2 copies, 1 shot, destroy any number of equipment cards. Omnitron-X deals each non-hero target X lightning damage, where X is the number of equipment cards destroyed by this card. And notice this destroys any number of equipment cards. It can be your allies, it can be the villains, anyone's equipment cards. Bah. 2 copies, Slip Through Time, Ongoing Limited. At the end of your turn, you may play a card and you may use a power. At the start of your turn, destroy this card. So it only lets you do it once, and then it destroys itself, but it gives you a really nice boost to play another card, use another power at the end of your turn. Helps energize you, get the right plating in, get all your really good defenses going. Awesome. 4 copies of Technological Advancement. 1 shot, search your deck for a plating card or a component card, put it into play, shuffle your deck, and draw a card. Just ways to get more of your stuff on the table, get it ready to go. And last but not least, Temporal shielding. Equipment plating reduces psychic, infernal, and radiant and sonic damage dealt to Omnitron by 2. When this card enters play, return all other plating cards to your hand. So again, I think there's 3 different variants on the plating cards. We have the temporal, we have the elemental, and we have the equipment plating. So this one does melee, projectile, and toxic. This does energy, lightning, cold, and fire. And this does psychic, infernal, radiant, and sonic damage. So there you go. So that is kind of a look at all of his different special abilities, his special powers. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the right defenses into play. And once he gets that, -2 damage is very, very tough. That's why he doesn't have very many hit points. He starts with 25 hit points, doesn't start with a ton of hit points. If you get his plating card in, a lot of times the villain is only doing 3, maybe 4 points of damage. You're doing -2. Means he's only going to be taking 2 damage, which is what he wants. He doesn't want to take 5 or more damage, because if he doesn't, as long as he doesn't take 5 or more damage, he can keep all of his components in play and just keep building up and building up and building up. Eventually, he can self-sabotage and do a bunch of damage. But in the meantime, he's going to be doing extra damage. He's going to be drawing extra cards. He's going to let other heroes regain hit points. He's going to do irreducible fire damage to enemies as long as he doesn't take 5 or more damage. So you don't want him targeted by a bunch of enemies. But he can, with that -2 plating, that can make him pretty tough. So he's all about putting his components out, getting his defensive plating out, and and then hopefully not taking a lot of damage. And again, it would take one hit that's doing like 5 damage, -2 is only taking 3, and then you have to take another hit of 5 damage, -2 is 3 more points, that would be 6, that would knock him out. So you're not usually taking 2 hits of 5 damage in this game. That's a lot of damage. So that -2, as long as he is in sync with whatever's attacking him and getting the right plating in, he's got lots of ways to rotate the plating in and out, put them in his hands, and be available. So okay, it looks like I'm gonna have the most hit points, so the villain's gonna hit me, and then the environment target, once he hits me, is gonna go after you. But you can calculate pretty much and figure out who's gonna be attacking who, for the most part. And that -2 damage is going to be very, very good. And then getting all your components out, you have a total of 5 components, I think is what we got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe it's just 4 components, 3 different platings, a couple ongoing. As long as you're not taking a lot of damage, I think he's kind of a tanky character. I think he's going to be a tanky character. It's he's got a little bit of risk management, so you can't just put out your 1 shielding and hope, okay, that's it. I just +2 against everything. No, you have to really manage the board and figure out who's going to be attacking you. And so if you like trying to play a really tanky character that has some strategy and trying to figure out who's going to be attacking you and which damage type to resist, which can be a little finicky. A lot of people don't like that. Some people just like, I just want to be -2 to everything. No, it's not like that. A lot of characters have a -1 against everything, but very few has -2 to anything. So being a -2 is very special. You're a very tough character. It makes you really tanky. And then once you do, you got a lot of bonuses that you can start adding up. And if things come to worst, you can self-sabotage, blow up all your components, do lots of damage, and then start building them back up again. And You can also destroy any number of equipment cards. That's not even just you. That's everyone. That's also villain that might have equipment cards in play. So again, depending on which villain you take Omnitron-X against, he can be super, super powerful. I do find Omnitron to be a pretty good, pretty tough character. He seems like he's always in the fight, and he's hardly ever knocked out. So if you like playing characters you don't have to want to manage and you don't want to have to worry about, Omnitron-X might be a good choice for you. He's got some cool mechanics, and he's keeping you in and you're thinking, constantly trying to think about who's going to be attacking you and who you're going to defend against, and which attacks are going to do the most damage, and how can you prevent 5 damage from knocking all your components off. And so if you like that mechanisms, you'll find him to be a very cool, tough character, and he'll be able to help a lot of the other characters that think they're super cool, and they're not super cool like he is. He'll be like, oh, if you just had cool things like me, then you'd be able to stick in the fight more. Hey Wraith, let me come help you over here and give you some healing, and maybe you can play some cards and stuff. And she's down to 6 hit points, and he's got 28 hit points. So yep, if you like characters like that, you can't go wrong with Omnitron-X, and yeah, he's a very good one. So thanks to everyone for watching another look at the heroes in Sentinels of the Multiverse. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe, and hopefully you'll be able to check out the other videos we got going on the channel. And thanks so much. We're going through the whole series of heroes in the game, and this is hero number 16. So last count, I think there was 71 different heroes we were going to go over. So we're making our way through the different heroes in the game, and we appreciate everyone's time, and I hope you enjoyed a look at Omnitron-X. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon, and don't you forget, I'll see you all down the line. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.